What's going on, YouTube family? We are back with another video, and you know what we're going to be talking about. We're talking about chapter 1061 of One Piece, and just like a whole lot of times recently, we have a lot to go over in regards to this chapter. One of the biggest reveals in the last 25 years, and the whole entire story is going on, and it just opens the doors for so many questions that it's not even funny. But man, before we get into that, of course, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit the like button so you can help the channel to grow. And of course, hit that notification bell so you get the content as soon as it comes out. Don't forget all that. Let's get to it. Um, Man, we might as well go ahead and address the elephant in the room. We have finally seen someone that bears the name Dr. Vegapunk. Now, what I have been pondering over my time between actually reading the chapter and, making this review is that what is the concept of who this young lady really is? Is she the original Dr. Vegapunk? The genius that has been hired by the government to do their bidding and make all the pacifistas, the now seraphims, and all that good stuff? Or is she the scientist who once was an old man, had the Dr. Gero syndrome, took his consciousness and transferred it into another body, and it just so happened to be a female? Or is this just one of his descendants, maybe even his wife, maybe? And she just so happens to be a doctor, and of course bear the last name Vegapunk, so she's throwing us off. There's so many different possibilities in regards to the world of anime that we have seen throughout the years in other animes as well as One Piece, where things just aren't as they seem. Now, I will say that the Punk O2 on her shirt, when we finally see her, from the waist down, nice and shapely, the O2 kind of tips us off to the other possibilities, especially the one where this might be Dr. Vegapunk 2.0, or second generation. Who knows? Again, like I said, there are so many different things because usually another trope is that they end up making one, like in scientist type of stuff like this, they make a scientist fall in love with another scientist. They do their thing, of course, and then they produce offspring, just like everyone else in the world. But there's so many different avenues for Oda to take us down, and of course, including the ones that troll. So I'm here for it. I can't wait to get some answers to some long pondered questions. Um, and we are getting lots of chapters with lots of answers from, like, what, the last 5 to 10 chapters have been super informing. So I'm pretty sure now that we have introduced Dr. Vegapunk, that is going to definitely continue without question. I'm really hoping to see which particular side of, the government that Vegapunk is really on. Is the Vegapunk family just a neutral party that goes along with everything because of the funding? Because we know money talks. Or are they literally bought into what the government is doing and they want to go ahead and help the government as much as they can because they believe in the government? Or is it one of those things where they're like, you know what? because you're so smart, we gonna get some leverage on you. We gonna hold that above your head, and we gonna get as much out of you as we can. Now, I kind of feel like that last one is nowhere near possible, but I wouldn't, I wouldn't shy away from that option because I mean it is possible. Again, Oda is a troll, can be, but even outside from that, with the Straw Hats, they just end up all over the place. Again, with the way this chapter started, with getting the whole shark attack from the Sea King sized mechanical shark that just capsizes the Sunny, throws it all over the place. Everybody's falling here, there, and everywhere. We're trying to figure out what's going on. Um, Zoro's like trying to put together what's going on in his mind. Sanji and Usopp are tumbling. They don't even have much dialogue. I think Usopp said is the one who actually, you know, lets us know that the capsizing of the Sunny. But I don't really remember hearing Robin or Brooke say anything. I think we get a panel of everybody kind of marveling later on. Yeah, we get a panel of everyone later on the Sunny once Dr. Vegapunk picks him up in her big giant mechanical Frankie looking robot. But prior to that, we didn't really see them. I was like kind of wonder where they were the whole time. But I will say, Jimbei jumped to the rescue real quick. I was proud of him. His first time to actually come to the rescue outside of a major arc, and he jumps right to it. He sees well, first off, some reason Chopper falls off the boat. Luffy tries to go after him with the gum rubber stretching out and all that good stuff. Catches him, but then Luffy's unable to get back to the boat because of the capsizing. So they fall into the water, and they end up right there with Joe Ribani, which in turn is a whole nother situation because we still never found out why she's here. Even throughout the whole entire chapter, we still never really get a whole fix on her situation because she's so caught up on Luffy once they get a chance to, drive and have a little chat. Though she provides a little fan service and all that stuff, a little side boob action, trying to bring out her clothes so she can put it back on. Which I'm not really sure about that. Who feels like just wringing out your clothes makes them dry enough for you to put them right back on? Either way, small touches of fan service never hurt nobody. Then, of course, the funny banter back and forth between Luffy and Jewelry because he doesn't even know who she is. She has to actually go as far as say, I'm Bonnie. I am from the worst generation. And remember, we are enemies. Just because you save me, don't forget we are still enemies. Terrible person. How are you, in spite of the fact that this dude just saved your life because you were caught in some knockup stream looking phenomenon? Now, granted, Zoro was the one who actually sliced it in half and got you out of there. You're telling this man, oh, we're enemies. You saw it in the newspaper yourself. This man is an emperor now. Why would he care about you? You said, oh, we're enemies. Like, that's going to scare him. Oh, my goodness. What were you thinking? What? So, but yeah, he shrugs it off. He's like, whatever. Because then, of course, she also mentions about the white hair and the bounty picture, and he's like, yeah, no, that's just when I'm free. Which, we get the question marks over her head, and she's like, what in the world does that mean? But then, of course, as Shonen Jump protagonists always do, they end up hungry. Luffy talking about wanting something to eat and finding a restaurant. And then that's when we find out that seeing Vegapunk wasn't necessarily just a coincidence. We are actually on her island where she sets up base and she does all her tinkering and creating for the world government. So, you know, not only are we in the midst of Dr. Vegapunk, but we are actually on a government island. So wonderful. So incredibly wonderful. It is interesting, though. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, that they just so happen to be on the same island as another conversation of Marines that are indeed having a conversation about the kidnapped Kobe. So Helmeppo, we actually get a chance to see Helmeppo, corny as he is, crying his eyeballs out. One of those rare moments where we actually see him showing concern for Kobe, because a lot of times he's acting like a jerk or whatnot, and then Kobe has to reel him back in. But it is what it is, man. You know, he is, like I said, he is crying his eyeballs out because this man wants to go get Kobe. He wants to storm into Blackbeard's island and try to get Kobe back. And of course, everyone else who has sense, who is rationally thinking about the process, is like, bruh, that is suicide. You are talking about going to Blackbeard's Island to try and rescue Kobe. Now, we all care about Kobe, but we gotta consider the danger and the risk involved. Can you stand up to Blackbeard? Because I know I can't. So that's a note. And we're just gonna leave it at that for now. We want to get Kobe back too, but you gotta be rational. Now we do get an unusual set of individuals here that that I don't believe I've ever seen before. Maybe I overlooked them or something like that. They don't even in the slightest bit look familiar to me. But I have to go back and see if there's anything I can find out about them. But one dude has this Marine hat, but the bill is like super long, like unnecessarily long. I'm like, not really sure what is the deal with this. Then we have this punk rocker chick. She looks pretty cool. She's doing her thing, but she's kind of she's kind of picking on Helmeppo because of the terrible mess that he looks like. And then, of course, he does actually have somebody that's kind of side by side of him, a seemingly blonde-haired chick. But she's not as bad off as he is, but she's definitely concerned about Kobe and wants to go pick him up, wants to go save him, get him out of harm's way and such. We also get a treat of seeing the Punk Hazard kids, which oh my god, that came out of left field. I was not expecting to see them. Not really sure the relevance, but it was cool to actually see that they were doing good. They were also kind of taking some serums and whatnot to kind of reduce their size and bring them back to normal. So that was interesting. Nice little touch on things in that regard. But really, again, the biggest, most exciting thing about this whole entire chapter was the reveal of Dr. Vegapunk. Whether it's the actual Dr. Vegapunk that has been Vegapunk for years, one of his family members, wife, daughter, or cousin, who knows, or him taking his consciousness out and putting it in a female. Whichever the case may be, you guys comment down in the, leave me a comment. Tell me what you guys think. Which one of those do you think, or do you even have your own hypothesis about who this particular Dr. Vegapunk is? Do you believe it's the real OG Dr. Vegapunk we've been hearing about for the last 25 years? Or do you feel like it's one of the other variations I've named? But we're going to end off the conversation there, man. We are having a freaking break. Oh, it just keeps doing this to us, leaving us on cliffhangers, leaving us on breaks. But, there's quite a bit going on, and it's kind of interesting because I haven't heard anybody else talk about the One Piece Netflix series that was supposed to happen. I don't know what's going on with that. And I'm still waiting to hear about the film Red English dub debut here in the US. Haven't heard anything about that, so I'm insanely interested about that. And but yeah, there's so much. And I applaud Oda though. I mean, even though he goes on break, he only does it, except for one he did back in July. He doesn't really go on break very often. So I mean, man, get your rest, do what you do. You've been a pioneer for so many years, where we appreciate you, and there's other content that we can discuss in the meantime. But hey, I'm gonna cut it here, and I'll catch up with all y'all in the next video. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all putting up with me being so inconsistent. But I promise we are going to get back consistent very soon. Everything's falling back into place. We are good. But again, I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.